Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs and hospitality people. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri, Woiwurrung and Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the unceded land where this conversation takes place, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I sat down with Franck Sammut, the quietly charismatic force between Upper Middle and South Melbourne, a new baguette and pizza spot that already feels like a neighbourhood favourite. Franck has spent his whole life in hospitality, from working in his dad's restaurant as a teenager to decades on the floor in some of Melbourne's most iconic venues. Now he's finally opened a place of his own, built on warmth, good bread, and the kind of genuine service people are craving right now. We talked about the joy and chaos of starting a business, the art of keeping things simple, the personalities that make a great team, and what it means to create a space where people feel looked after. It's a conversation that gives a clear sense of who Franck is and what he's trying to build, and I loved it. Hi, Franck.
Hello.
It's lovely to be at Upper Middle. Let's start with, what does the name mean?
Oh, so Upper Middle is, so it's a bit, I wanted something a bit different.
Yeah.
You know, not something Italian or French or a bit quirky like myself. I'm a little bit different sometimes. And Upper Middle stems from a sort of running joke I've had with my longtime friend Donnie about being upper middle class or lower middle class. And he's always teased me that I'm a bit upper middle and he feels lower middle.
Okay.
But he's more upper middle than I am.
Yeah. I thought it probably did have perhaps to do with the demographic or some such thing. I asked ChatGPT what it thought Upper Middle was, and it thought that you were being very clever and observational about cafe society in Melbourne.
Oh, there you go. There was perhaps an element of that.
Maybe. It's a really lovely building. It's like the entrance is lovely, that curve of the brick wall. So is this a fairly new apartment building?
So office building.
Oh, office building.
6 levels above. Done by Fortis, about a year old, I think. We've just gone in, so brand new building, brand new business. With the design, I guess we wanted to add a bit of history.
Yeah.
That hospitality is in my blood, with my father having restaurants and I doing it since I left school, basically, 97, Jesus. One day I'll say that. 97. And I wanted to warm up a space, I guess, that was new.
Yeah. Did you have a say in this layout?
Yeah,
the
100%.
Design?
Yes,
okay.
100%. So initially we had the whole ground floor.
Yeah. Oh.
So we've staged it into two because the concept I came up with was I wanted a restaurant, bar, but the whole space was too big for me to do one restaurant. I mean, it's very hard to fill a 120 plus seater.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have a 60, 70 seater restaurant, which will be in stage 2, hopefully end of the year, early next year, with a beautiful bar. And I kind of did a bit of a grab and go for the business crowd. And I've noticed everybody kind of walks around in South Melbourne. You know, you've got the main strip, you've got Albert Park, Port Melbourne, everybody's sort of rambling through the side streets. Got 1,000 people in the offices across the road.
Wow.
So I thought, a little baguette bar, fresh sandwiches made to order, pizza oven, because pizza's been my favourite food since I was, I don't know how old. I guess that was the concept, get stage 1 humming along, bit of Uber Eats pizza as well in the area in a few weeks when we've got our pizzas, 100% on, and then just slowly grow.
What style pizzas are they?
So we've done a bit of a Napolitana, I guess, a bit doughy, but still not super doughy, like a bit between Roman and Naples.
But scarce toppings, so just nice flavours rather than lots of topping. Is that more European style?
Yeah, European style. Not the Australian, Aussie kind of lavish tongue, but pared back, but still generous.
Yeah. I think it's great just to keep things simple. I think it's very European, isn't it, to do something well rather than have a lot of variety, for example. Your baguette, I can see them from here. They look really good. Where do they come from?
So we get them par-baked by Baker in the Rye in Carlisle Street by Miguel. He's great. So I tested a few along the way over the last few months, and he was the last one I sampled and the best. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, it was kind of, it all fell in line, bit by bit. I won't give any of the other competitors' names away, but his had, because you need the bread to sort of have that bite on it, but not take over the filling.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's the one I found. So he does really well. Yeah, and he's making us a half baguette just for us.
Yeah, it's a great size, isn't it? I mean, it's what you get when you're in France. Those baguettes just with a bit of ham and cheese and maybe a bit of lettuce or something, just it's so delicious. Yes. So what are you doing with yours?
So there's that classic ham, cheese sort of butter, but we do a little bit of a take on it. I've got a recipe off a chef that I worked with, and he said, try pickled beetroot, Comté cheese, premium ham, and alfalfa with a bit of butter. Yum. Yeah, something different. So I've called it the ham dam.
Yes.
I'm a bit of an action fan, so Jean-Claude Ham Dam.
Great.
And we've got a chicken. Everybody loves chicken in Australia. So a beautiful chicken mix. There's a prosciutto, and we've got a veggie. So pickled. So I've got actual zucchinis from Selby. My sister-in-law lives in the Dandenong Ranges. So organic zucchinis. We pickle them. And then we put them through the baguette with a bit of a goat cheese mousse, capsicum, grilled eggplants, and I think there's a touch of aioli and pesto. Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Doesn't it?
So good.
And
it's just the right size, isn't it, for a nice lunch?
It's something different. Everybody's doing pides, focaccias, paninis.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a good baguette.
And you're open in the evenings as well.
So we're opening 3 days. We do Sunday to Wednesday, 7 a.m., 4 p.m. And then we'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the meantime, still 7 a.m., but all the way through till late.
Yeah.
So last night we had a good turnout. We had about 30 people inside for dinner, pizza, and we had a little tuna tartare as a special. Tuna tartare, avocado mousse, and truffle oil. And we did a steak, a little Scotch fillet. Something different. The aim is to sort of see what South Melbourne and the public wants, and if our guests demand a bit more variety at night instead of a pizza and salad, I'm happy to introduce a bit more of a sort of teaser restaurant menu, which is what I want to bring next door, and have 3-4 entrees rotating, 3-4 mains, and just rotate non-stop. So you can come once, twice, 3 times a week and always have something different.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that straight away and just have people come in and say, oh, but we're eating in a cafe.
No, that's right.
Because it is at the moment kind of a cafe.
Yeah. And I see that that your head chef, Lakshay, he's been at places that you've been at as well. So have you known him for a while?
Yes, I've known him. Well, I worked at Bistro Thierry for 2 years, sort of part-time-ish, while I was renovating a house. And it was a lot of fun. Met Lakshay there. He's been working there, or was working there about 8 years, I think, in total.
That's a good stint.
Yeah, got his PR there.
Yeah.
And met him there. I left, started looking for chefs. He was interested, and sort of went through the process, and he came out on top. He's a good chef.
Yeah. Why now for doing your own thing? Because you're described as in most of the articles as a hospitality veteran.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm a bit young for that.
I know, that's what I thought.
No,
I'm what makes someone
46
a veteran?
years old.
Yeah.
I don't think so, not yet. One day maybe. But look, I've always enjoyed looking after people. When I first started in hospo, it was at the old Stoke House, the one that burned down.
Yeah.
And I was mainly in the bar for most of that. I got onto the floor at Francois and was really uncomfortable at first because behind a bar you've got this protection.
Yes.
So, and it's your little space. And when you're on the floor, you're in their world. You're in the client's world. But the last thing I learned was, I learned a lot of lessons at Francois from a great old sort of professional team that really took on hospitality as a profession, not just a part-time job. So great memories. But I learned the last lesson was really just to look after the customers and make them the most important. And that just stuck with me. It's without them, we don't have a job, do we?
No.
Without consistency, without all those things, we just we wouldn't have restaurants to dine in.
Yeah.
You got to keep them. Everyone will come and have a look. You've got to keep them coming back, and you don't do that by being unhospitable or unfriendly or on your phone while they walk in. You've got to be attentive, make them feel welcome. You know, it's not complicated. I keep saying that, but it's hard.
Well, it's like common sense. It's not really that common, but you think hospitality, it is about being hospitable, and I don't know that
there's much left.
Yes. Sometimes, I mean, the places I go to are really lovely, I think. But yes, I've certainly been to places where, where I haven't. I think the behind the bar staff are just having such a great time themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is
100%.
good. You want people to have fun at work, but also when you're there, you do want to also feel a bit special and looked after. So yeah.
Well, you want, whether you're an owner or a customer, I guess you want people that are employed to do their job.
Yeah, that's right.
And do it with passion. And that's what you try and look for as now a business owner, is that I've kind of looked for a younger team rather than people with names. And I don't mind putting a bit of passion into training and creating a bit more of a younger, I'm not going to create a generation, but more people that want to spend their livelihood in hospital.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the greatest family thing. For the family life, it's not superb. I've got a 13, just soon to be 14-year-old daughter and wife, and they're all beautiful and healthy, but a bit more time at home would be great.
Yeah.
Especially opening a business, but that's hospo.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't do much.
And there is a lot of talk about the challenges for hospo currently, and the high pricing and all that kind of thing. So what made you want to be a business owner now?
Well, I think it goes like a few things. I'm 46 and I don't want to work for someone my whole life.
Yeah.
You want to have a go. I don't want to sit back when I'm 60 and go, I think I could have. I'd rather have a crack and say I could or I couldn't. I like a lot of sort of motivational lines and all that, and like you can only fail if you have a crack. If you don't have a go, you're not going to fail, you're not going to succeed, you're just not going to have a go. I think it was time. It kind of, as a wife would say, the universe, everything lined up. She's a big universe girl. I'm not so much, but hey, things seem to have lined up. In a sense, you look back at like the little achievements of just putting the concept together, getting design done, having people come on board, and everything's so hard when you do it. And then you look back and go, that wasn't actually that hard. But as you're going through it, it's like the most challenging thing ever. So it's been some great lessons so far, great times, but I think the best is coming. And it's just, the first week we decided to open was Mother's Day week.
Oh.
Which was maybe not a mistake, but definitely a challenge. And we picked up on a few mistakes, and we won't be doing them again. And a stressful week.
Yeah.
Big stressful week, but fun.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing.
So you were busy?
Oh yeah, very busy.
That's great.
Great week, great week. And you pick up where young staff can get better, where they excel, who's hungry, who's not, who's devoted, who doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's another lesson I picked up along the way is you can't have 8 people in a team that are the same. You can't have 8 guys which care too much. You can't have 8 guys that don't care. You got to have a bit of everyone.
Yeah.
Because we don't please everybody. Us, we're a character, and I may be palatable to one person and not the other. And you've got to have a guy that doesn't care, a guy that's a clown, a guy that's too serious, a guy that's up himself a little bit, a guy that's too generous. And then together they create a great team.
Yeah. And where do you start with training a team?
Good question. I guess training is asking, communicating and saying, where do you find that you're strong?
Yeah.
Where do you find that you're not? Where do you want to learn? Do you want to learn? Do you want to what areas do you think you could excel in, and keep them hungry. I mean, that's another thing, is it's not just about getting paid, it's about learning and creating and growing professionally, personally as well. I think that's part of the job.
You want people, to feel proud of the work they've done and to enjoy service and so on. That's right.
Yeah, and come home and say, I started maybe making sandwiches and baguettes, and this week I've been doing the till, and I wasn't comfortable with it last week, but it's really, and they get more confident. And as someone gets more confident, they grow, they get better.
Yeah.
And knowledge is confidence.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm still learning.
Yeah. So your father had restaurants as well, and you've got that beautiful wall with all the photos of La Brasserie. So it's interesting, so maybe hospitality runs in the blood. Do you?
Yeah, I would say in my blood, yes.
Did you work in his restaurant?
I did the till when I was about 15, 16 at his restaurant. I just fell in love with, I guess, the buzz of it all and different characters, and I was staying up a bit later than I was used to. It was fun. It was good. So we've got, like you mentioned, there's that beautiful wall in there. I've got old artwork from sort of 1890 to the 1900s newspapers, and actual artwork that old, and you see the colours are beautiful, and it just adds a bit of depth and history and warmth to, like I said before, a new building. And then you've got the family side of it. Dad, Dennis, sort of hospo inspired, I guess, little bits and pieces, and then some quirky artwork, which is a bit how I am, a bit out there sometimes, a bit quirky. But a mix of it all, I think, is, just adds a bit of warmth in there.
Yeah. Is your surname Maltese?
There is some Maltese, generation in there. So my dad's parents, his dad was Maltese, French, I believe, and his mum was, or is, the only one still going, Lydia, which is Sicilian, Italian.
Okay.
Tough woman.
Wow. Yeah.
Super stubborn.
Nice. I wonder, do you think, it's silly because not all Maltese people or Sicilian people are drawn to hospitality or food, but maybe there's an element of that?
Yeah, possibly. Possibly.
Yeah.
I think they like entertaining, It's. I'm lucky. I mean, we're just finishing our second week, and I've worked more hours than I can count.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's all been fun. And while you're tired and exhausted, at the same time, you're loving what you do. Like, nothing beats that feeling of coming to work for yourself. It's pretty good.
It's great.
And look after people and meet, I guess, the suburb, and meet people coming, and it's a new clientele I haven't looked after before. So it's some of my old customers as well from Francois and back in the day are sort of touching base, which is really nice. And coming in to say hello and support. But it's nice to be looked after. There's a few restaurants, not many that I go to, which aren't, necessarily well known. And the first 10 times you go, you might not get the service you want, but then they finally recognise you and it becomes a local,
Yeah. I think people are really leaning into that now. I think I was talking to someone this morning at Pilates, and we were saying how everyone's a bit on edge at the moment, and I just feel like people, when it comes to going out, that they are seeking good, cosy, simple places, genuine places where you can have a conversation. I love going to, the local cafe, and they know my name and all that kind of thing. It's great.
What you drink.
Yeah, what you drink, It
becomes a bit easier.
That's right.
There's one thing I wouldn't say dislike, but I love going to new places. Could be the best new restaurant, whatever, it could be whenever. But at the same time, you've got to have a waiting staff that's able to sort of have banter and muck around.
Yeah.
It's like, the menu's awesome, the service is awesome, the wine list is awesome, but then you can't even have a joke. I think that's what's lacking in perhaps some higher restaurants.
Yeah.
But, wait staff, staff's hard to find as well.
Yeah.
It's hard. You've got to teach them how to speak to people sometimes, and not everybody's comfortable. I wasn't, like I said before, speaking to customers at first. It's quite challenging. But I guess after 20 odd years, it becomes a bit easier.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, definitely the local sort of neighbourhood, I guess, local is, for me, is what I like.
Yeah. And what are you most looking forward to over the next few months?
Building it,
Yep.
seeing it grow, seeing the team grow, you know, being able to sustain and build a team, I guess, and support them financially, not just myself, but grow together. But yeah, just seeing where it can go. I've never been sort of the think long term kind of in the future kind of guy. But that's another lesson I learned from someone I worked with, is always think long term. You know, you've got to sort of have goals, and yeah, I'm interested to see what the year brings. I think we're opened at the right time, coming into winter, which isn't here yet. Doesn't seem like it, and hopefully a bit of momentum will carry us through that, and then it's, you know, we're off. Racing Carnival, Christmas, and before we know it, we're a year old.
Yeah.
It'll just fly by, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's great. Thank you. So nice to hear all about it.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Franck Sammut at Upper Middle in South Melbourne. You can check out all the goodness on Instagram at Upper Middle South Melb. That's all one word. And if you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read this chat online at www.conversationwithachef.com. And of course, you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats. I still think it's the best way to get these delicious stories out into the world. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and bon appetit.